inflated prices are forcing pet owners to make difficult decisions, with some opting out of ownership altogether. Companion Animal Alliance in Baton Rouge is over capacity after dozens of dogs and cats were surrendered. Emily Lemoine, a spokesperson for the shelter, gives insight on the growing problem.
So we have a guest with us today. Who is this?
We have a very special guest. He's getting a little antsy here in my lap. This is Trisket. He's about 5 years old, and he is one of our very lucky pups who is going on a transport tomorrow.
Going on a transport. So can you explain what that means?
Yeah, so we have this really robust program where we have dozens of national rescue partners with empty shelters who will tag pets in our shelter who are in desperate need of homes, and we will actually send flights of these animals up there.
And right now that seems like something you guys desperately need.
Yes, we've done more than 6 already this year, and it's not even the end of February. So this is definitely a program that we're very committed to. It's a very effective and beneficial way to create space in our shelter and also send pets to rescues where we can guarantee a positive outcome.
So you guys are definitely over capacity at this time.
Yes. As of this morning, we were a little over 100 dogs over capacity. There are 388 in our care as of this morning, and about 150 of them are in foster care, still leaving, like I said, a surplus of about 100 dogs that we don't have space for.
Wow, and I mean, you guys don't just care for dogs, you care for lots of other animals.
Yes, we've been putting a little emphasis on dogs just because of capacity crisis. But we take in everything from livestock to wildlife, or we'll find rehabilitators for them. We sometimes have bunnies, little piglets, snakes, birds, anything. So we do our best to try to find placement for every single one of these animals.
And that's been really difficult. Why are you guys over capacity?
We believe that it's a combination of financial strains that a lot of people are dealing with right now, combined with not as many people spaying and neutering their dogs as should be. So between those things, there's an eviction crisis going on. There are thousands of people who love their pets, want to keep their pets, and have to choose between themselves or their children and their pets. And even though we're dealing with this crisis, we always want you to choose yourself. This is our job, this is what we're here for. And it's times like this that we really try to rely back on the community that we so often help for a little bit of help back.
So when did you guys notice that, hey, this could be becoming a problem soon?
This has been a problem for a long, long time. Last August, we made a call that was almost identical to the one we made last week. We saw an immense outpour of community support. We were able to empty an entire room of kennels, and that lasted for about 5 days, that piece. So we are constantly struggling to essentially make ends meet and to save as many animals as we can. Despite record low adoptions, record high intake, we've still maintained to keep our save rate at 89%. In 2010, when we were formed, the save rate of animals in East Baton Rouge Parish was 20%. So despite everything and despite the hard decisions that we do sometimes have to make, I think we're doing a great job, especially given what we have to work with.
Yeah, especially given what you have to work with.
Like Trisket.
Like Trisket. So you said earlier that Trisket is one of a couple dogs that are going to be transferred to different facilities around the country.
Right.
I guess, how many are you guys planning to ship next?
I'm not sure how many the one for tomorrow is. They vary very vastly on how many dogs that our shelter specifically is able to send out. We kind of serve as like a meeting point for many other shelters and rescues in the area. So when we have these flights of dogs out, we will invite other parishes to bring their dogs here to join this flight. So sometimes that means bumping a few of our own pets so that other shelters can have the opportunity to have more of their pets be tagged. Sometimes that means that we send out 60 in a day. Sometimes that means we send out 2 in a day. It really just depends. We give rescues full permission to select whichever dogs they would like to have sent over from our shelter. Usually this means that little cuties like Trisket gets selected, specific breeds of dogs, heartworm negative dogs get selected, and unfortunately the reality is that This leaves our shelter with a lower numbers of highly adoptable dogs, which can sometimes make getting out the ones that we were left with even harder to get out. So what we do to combat that and incentivize these adoptions is we have an entire one of 5 of our adoption rooms in which every single animal in the room has a waived adoption fee. We want to break down as many barriers to adoption as possible. You know, we don't do yard checks. We're not going to ask you for your social security number. We're an open adoptions facility. We believe that people belong with pets, and we want to make it as easy as possible for someone who's wanting a companion animal to get one.
And last weekend, I mean, it seems like that effort worked out because you guys have had a lot of help recently.
Yeah, correct. We're very fortunate to be based here in a community where, you know, for every person that doesn't care, there are 10 people who care so much. We have an amazing network of volunteers, fosters, donors, and advocates, and even our adopter alumni. They're all such amazing people. We always receive so much support. We've received thousands of dollars in donations since last Thursday, and things are going good. Progress is being made. We do want to urge that this isn't a victory. This is a long journey that we're on right now, so we want to maintain this momentum of this movement and hopefully continue that support and advocacy.
So if anybody wants any other information about how to adopt a dog like Trisket, where do they need to go? What do they need to know?
So on caabr.org/adopt, you will find all the details of our adoption process. You will find a link to every adoptable animal that we have. You'll find a link to every adoptable animal in foster care that we have, and you'll also be provided with ways to contact a representative from our shelter or directions to our physical shelter.
All right, well, thank you so much for talking with us.
Of course. Bye, Trisket.
Say bye.
If the capacity problem continues, some of the animals in the shelter will be euthanized. So far this year, they've lost a few dogs. They've had to put them down to accommodate the growing need.